Hey, welcome to Spirit Soul Sense, Information for Your Soul. I am Shareece, and I would hope that we all want to live a long and healthy life. I want to live to be 110, and so I have been doing a lot of research about what it takes to live a long and healthy life, right? So there is research actually done on centenarians, people who live past 100 years old, who are in good health. Like, what are the things that they're doing? And there's a lot of information about things like food and exercise to tell us what we can do, right? Because I'm in my 30s and really it starts now. The things that people in their hundreds have been doing are things they've been doing for decades to help maintain their body and their mind in my previous video and their spirit in another video. So when it comes to food, I feel like food is a hot topic for a lot of people. I think a lot of people have problems with food, disordered eating. I don't know. I think it's a concern for a lot of people. You don't have to be vegan. A lot of the research says you do not have to be vegan to live a long and healthy life, but you do have to reduce your consumption of processed meat for sure. I consider my household to be whole foods, plant-based diet. I recently eliminated chicken from our family diet, but I'm exploring still what it is that I want to do because I've found myself really identifying with being a vegetarian, not so much vegan, although I feel like one day I'll be a raw food vegan. I don't know, we'll see. But healthy eating, conscious eating is what I think is most important. Like being aware of the food that you're eating. Do you feel nourished afterward? Do you feel energized afterward? Do you just feel tired? So generally speaking, they say to stay away from a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, a lot of processed food, whether it's meat or not, just a lot of prepackaged foods, the ones you find in the center of the grocery store in the frozen section. You want to limit your consumption of these kinds of foods. So in the information that they've gathered on centenarians, a lot of these people cook their own food, which makes me feel good because I cook most of my food. I eat out sparingly, eat processed food sparingly. We've reduced a lot of the sugar that we eat in this family. And I think if you are not on the path to cooking your own food, you can look into like a meal prep service. There are a lot of people, a lot of companies doing, prepackaged things. And, a lot of chefs are branching out to include meal prepping as part of their service. So if you don't have time to cook, what you're looking for is farm to table kind of food, right? Whole foods that you're eating that actually, nourishes your body. I think along with food, weight is an important factor in longevity. I've never seen a 100-year-old who was obese. I've never seen that. Maybe that exists somewhere, but I don't think that is the norm. And, we're looking at data, we're looking at what happens most of the time. And so most of the time, people who are centenarians, who are healthy, right? Because you don't want to just be old. You want to be an older age and healthy, able to walk, able to cook, able to laugh and have fun, do all the things, hobbies, whatever that you've been doing. So these people are of normal weight. I think part of what helps keep their weight, because food is the most important thing. We talk about food is the most important thing when it comes to your weight, but to keep the body moving as it should. Because a lot of what happens in older age is bone density decreases and muscle tone also decreases. So having a strength training exercise regimen is important. There are lots of different ways to do this. So a lot of people, when they're older, don't necessarily lift weights. There are some powerlifting people who in their 80s and 90s are still lifting heavy, but most people don't do that. They just do some sort of resistance training. But generally speaking, any sort of exercise is helpful in maintaining the health of someone who's much older. So these folks can be doing anything from walking, maybe jogging still. I've seen some older folks on my running path, jogging, using resistance bands. Some people are using the weights. A lot of people swim because swimming is like a whole body exercise. That's like a helpful thing. But I would say whatever you find enjoyable as something to do, like do that thing. At any age, researchers also suggest exercising for about 30 minutes, at least three times a week, which is what I currently am doing. Although I'm usually in the 40 to 45 minute range in my workouts. And when I'm intense, when I'm like doing cardio and weightlifting, then it's usually about an hour for me. Where you live has a lot to do with the health of your environment. So I don't think America has the best number of centenarians. I forget which country has a lot of centenarians. I think maybe Japan. But the Caribbean also has a lot of centenarians. And I think a lot of it is because there's a reduction in pollution. So not just air quality, but, you know, chemicals in the area can be really influential about, you know, what kind of cancers people get, the likelihood of getting cancers, because that's like, cancer is not a normal process. Like cancer, dementia, these things are not normal process of aging. These are things that aren't supposed to happen, but can happen when a toxin is present. And there's a lot of data to suggest that smoking is not the healthiest thing to do. I don't know. Not everyone who smokes gets significant complications, but the percentage of people who do, it's like been linked very clearly to smoking. And like smoking cigarettes specifically, I don't think we know what does like weed smoke do. I don't know, but I've heard people talk about the smoke from barbecuing being comparable to like smoke in general, and that when things burn and break down, there is a sort of toxin that goes into your lungs. And so do you really want the smoke to be in your lungs? Like, do you want this? I'm not a fan of smoke, like any kind of smoke. I don't like smoke. But I like to say everything in moderation, including moderation. So when it comes to what you eat, when it comes to where you live, when it comes to your exercise, you want to be aiming for a healthy lifestyle overall. But I do not suggest being really rigid or extreme in anything you do, because anything in excess is going to be like bad for you. So figure out like, what is the balance that you need? Do you want to keep fish in your diet? Are you going to continue eating meat? If so, then it should be grass-fed beef. Also, you should reduce the amount of times you're having it. Like you shouldn't be having a burger every week, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy all the things that you've been enjoying. I think the most important thing that we can do is tap into our own body, because if a thing exists, there's somebody allergic to it. And a lot of people are allergic to at least something, like your body overreacts to something. So be mindful about things like gluten in bread, or dairy, like especially if you're Black. Like a lot of people, by the time you reach adulthood, are lactose intolerant. Look at the way your body is responding to the food that you're eating. Pay attention to whether you're feeling energized or not, and just make overall healthy decisions for your life. Okay? Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching.